This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all. And neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, there are some cases that have just one piece of the puzzle missing. Like, if you could just figure out this one thing, the crime would be solved. The story I'm telling you about today is just like that. There's a 911 call that everybody tries to figure out because it holds the key to solving this case. This is the mysterious death of Brandon Lawson. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband, Russ, true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's your boy Russ.
What's up?
AKA, the annoying husband, back for another one.
Annoying to about 5% of our reviewers on Apple, but 95% love you.
That's right, because I don't want those 5% here anyway.
Very true. So, you know how I always talk about how I'm way too old to make a TikTok?
Here we go.
Well, I made a TikTok that actually went pretty viral, and it was all by mistake. I didn't know it was going to be such a hit, but it was a huge hit. And then, ironically, a couple days later...
Jess got like 4 million views this week on TikTok.
I did. And I was always, I'm always like, I don't know what to do for TikTok. I don't know what to do. So I just, on a whim, made this video. It got 4 million views. We got 50,000 new followers on TikTok. And then, like, a couple days later, I got locked out of my account.
So, obviously, Jess does not know how to use TikTok. We weren't lying.
I'm locked out, guys. So
but we might get back in.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I emailed TikTok. I'm waiting for a response. I heard they take forever. So right now, I'm locked out of the account. However, if you are here from TikTok, welcome. And go follow us on Instagram because that's where I'll be posting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It's almost poetic, to be honest. It is. Like, who would have thought?
Well, it's very Jess. Like, you didn't know what an app was till about 3 years ago. I'm like, Jess never updates her apps. I'm talking to my sister. And Jess goes, yes, I do. And then she's like, what's an app?
I know what an app is.
Well, now you know.
No, I'm really bad with technology. I'm actually surprised that I have this podcast. I'm surprised that we are even going to be recording on video from now on because I'm just really slow with technology. And clearly I go viral on TikTok and now I could probably never post a TikTok again.
Well, I'm glad because Jess was trying to reply to all 7,000 comments and I haven't seen her in 3 days since she posted that.
Whatever. Well, we'll see what happens.
But today is an odd day.
Why?
Because this is the first day we're recording for YouTube.
Yeah.
And I feel a little uncomfortable.
You do?
People are watching me. I see you.
They are.
People are watching me. Cheers to you guys.
Yeah, we'll see how this video turns out. I mean, I'm excited. We have our studio set up here, all done. Thanks to all the listeners and patrons and everybody. Like, you guys supporting us is what got us to this point. So thank you so much.
So what is the YouTube name? Because I don't know it exactly, so people can go see it.
Wife of Crime Pod.
Okay, it's that on most stuff, and it's that on TikTok, but we might have to make another one.
Yeah, we might have to
even
make
though
a
like
new
we got
TikTok.
50,000 followers on there in like a day.
I know.
So Jess had an interesting experience this week that really annoyed me.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to bring this up.
I was planning on bringing this up, and she's like, do you have anything you're going to bring up during the pod? And I don't always tell her what I'm going to bring up, because I like natural reactions as well. Mm-hmm. So Jess was out shopping at Target, and she shoots me a text, as she should in this situation. So it says, some dude in Target just asked to take a picture of my feet. LMAO with a crying face. And I said, what? Tell him to fuck off. Not funny.
Yeah.
And her response is, do you want the big jars? Because she was going to get mason jars because we started juicing.
Yeah.
So that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like, it's
He's
not funny. So I was like, is he still around? Where are you? Yeah. Is there a cop in there? Tell the cop. And it's funny because, well, not funny. Funny is the wrong word. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine we met at a bar the other day was with a girl, and we were talking. She was telling me about some dude that was trying to take pictures of her feet in Target. Yeah. So this is the same guy.
Same guy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And this is in the Bronx in Target. If you see him, folks, knock him out. I wish I was there. What did you say to him?
I was creeped out.
The girl that we were hanging out with our friend said she told him, get the fuck away from me.
No,
and she
I did. I said, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, because I was wearing these little slide sandals. And he was like, oh, I really like your shoes. I said, stop. What are you doing? Don't take pictures of me. And then he walked away.
Hopefully someone catches this rat bastard.
Yeah.
Because that's how it starts. Mm-hmm. Like, the Golden State Killer, he started off, just burglarizing apartments. And next thing you know, he's killing people and stuff. So, maybe this dude starts out taking pictures of feet, and he tried to tell Jess, I have an Instagram. Look at my Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did.
You should have screamed, help! Help!
No.
Rape! No, you draw attention to this motherfucker.
Don't get me wrong. He's definitely a creep. But he walked away, and then I went about my shopping, and I kept my eyes peeled, and I told the cashier, and there was no security in the front, so I couldn't tell security, but I told the cashier. And I told them to look out for him. And I described him. So I said, make sure you tell your manager, because he's creepy as fuck.
The cashier doesn't give a shit. The cashier makes bullshit money. They don't even like their job. Usually it's just like trying to figure out how to get another job. Unless like you love your job. Shout out to you. I've never met anyone who loved their job.
That's not true.
Well, except nurses.
We love our job.
Nurses love their jobs.
We do, yeah.
So that really grinded my gears.
Well, I'm sorry.
And I wish I was there. I kept texting Jess because I was about to leave work.
I know. And I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate you being upset. I really do.
All right. And I don't even know why he wanted to take pictures of her feet. They aight.
I'm an ex-ballerina, okay? So
they're not bad, but they're not Instagram worthy.
Instagram worthy feet.
They aight.
You're too much. Oh, God. Well, yeah. Look out for the creepers. There are some creepy people in this world, man. I'm telling you. He was a creep. He was young, too. So, like, he's not somebody you look at and think they're a creep, because he's like a young dude. Like, you would think a creepy guy who wants to take pictures of feet would be like some old nerdy dude. I don't know why, but that's just what comes to my mind.
Nah, he was like a young dude, and Jess was like, he was like 6'3".
He was huge.
And I was like, I don't care. It would have been on site.
It would have been, I know.
I don't care.
Well, I'm lucky to have
because
you.
Even if you don't win, you still have to not make it easy for people. It would have been on site.
No, it's true. Well,
and you know what's crazy right now?
What?
Since we're doing this video, my nose is like a little itchy, but I'm like, damn it, I can't scratch it.
You can scratch your nose.
Thinking like,
be natural.
Russ picks his boogers on the camera.
Just be natural. Okay. So this month on the Patreon, we are covering a really interesting looking documentary on Hulu for May True Crime and Chill called Captive Audience, and it looks really good. It just was released on Hulu, so whether you're a patron or not a patron, go check it out because the trailer looks really good. Even you think it looks good.
You know, I remember when you showed it to me, I thought it looked good, but now I don't remember what it was. But I'm like, I remember that it looked good, and I won't be tortured. There's 3 episodes.
There is 3 episodes.
I prefer one, but I think it's 3 45-minute episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not as long as the Batman we just watched.
No, it's not. We just watched Batman, and that was a long-ass movie.
Yeah, it should have been like a mini-series of 3 episodes.
Definitely. So, speaking of the patron, you got the patron shout-outs.
All right, folks. So I got the patron shout-outs here. Okay, so this week's patrons are JC, Zena, Stacy, Warren, a.k.a. Super Mario Nintendo Girl, Sophie, Michelle, Jay, Becca, Sierra, Kaylee, Born Illegal, Sharon, L, Allie, Sandra, Montana, Regini, Sarah, Jocelyn, and Natalia. So, cheers to you guys.
Cheers. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the Patreon. And look out for that True Crime and Chill for May. We got like 20 other bonus episodes that you can check out over there. And
that was the first time Jess ever sang cheers.
Oh, yeah, I did. Cheers.
Felt like we were on a Broadway show over here. Do you want to do like happy hands? Is that what it's called?
No.
What's it called when they go?
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands, yeah.
All right. So, as you guys know, every week I do review of the week when you guys do a review on iTunes or Apple or whatever it is. So, this week's review of the week, you know, since we already spoke a lot, and I love short, funny reviews, this one is from Shamom or Chamom76. Great pod, 5 stars. Heart emoji, mold.
That's it.
So, love mold. I think that's
good.
me.
Yes, I think that's you, for sure.
And we got a runner-up real quick.
Okay.
So, we got someone, my boy Dave Hockey, I'm just going to paraphrase this. Even though he has Patreon, he still listens to the regular episodes because he loves our ads and thinks they're funny. Oh, shout out to you, Dave Hockey.
Oh, that's cute. The host read ads. Yeah, whenever we do those. That is funny. All right. Well, missing persons cases, right, are so sad and eerie. Like when someone just disappears off the face of the earth and their family has no closure. But like I said in our episode that we did a while back about Brian Schaefer, which was the young medical student that disappeared when he went to that bar that one night. Do you remember? He went to a bar.
They said he might have came out the back door. Was he the dude that was found in the water?
He was never found. He's still never been found.
I thought they were talking about the Happy Face Killer with him or something.
They thought, but he was never found.
So how could they even bring up Happy Face Killer if he wasn't found near a Happy Face?
I don't remember. You have to go back and listen to the episode, Russell, because we have a lot of episodes and I can't remember every single thing I say. But
you know, when you call me Russell, people get confused.
No, they don't.
I've heard that. They say, "Who's Russell?"
Nah, you're Russell. Everyone knows
I'm Russ.
That. So anyway,
the profiler.
Like I said in the Brian Schaefer episode, it's even more eerie to me, to be honest with you, when men go missing. And I know that might sound a little sexist, and I might get shit for saying that, but I'm still in that mindset where men are bigger, stronger, faster. So for me, being a woman, I think, oh yeah, I understand if a woman gets kidnapped or something like that, but a man going missing, like I know that's probably, not the best way to think about it.
But it doesn't. But well, if a man goes missing, you're more curious, like, how did it happen? Mm-hmm. When a woman goes missing, you think a male probably got them. And that's for the most people. And there'll be the 2% of the weirdos that are like, say something dumb. But the truth is testosterone makes you stronger and harder to kidnap.
Well, we're going to get shit regardless because everyone has something to say about everything.
But no, we're going to have 90% of the people who are like, yeah. So
hearing about a man disappearing, it honestly creeps me out a little bit more than hearing about a woman disappearing, because in my mind, like you said, I think when a woman disappears, you think, oh, a man probably took her. But when a man disappears, you're like, well, what could have happened? Because men can fight other men And they're usually, it's more like an equal playing field a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it tends to like really make me think and creep me out even more. Today's case is actually a really famous case. A lot of true crime podcasts have covered it over the years because it's super eerie. It's the case of Brandon Lawson. And it's very interesting and covered a lot because at the center of this case is this super creepy 911 call. And it's one of those things
like last week.
Yeah, kind of like last week, but this one is even more bizarre. And it's one of those things that everybody in the last 10 years has been like, if we can just hear what the guy is saying, we have the key to know where he is and what happened to him. But it's really hard to decipher this 911 call. And it's made it very hard to solve this case. Are you ready?
Yes.
Brandon Lawson was a 26-year-old guy from San Angelo, Texas. So he lived there with his long-term girlfriend, Ledessa, and 4 children. He was an oil field worker, aka a roughneck. So I didn't know this, but the nickname for oil field workers is roughnecks because this is some real, like, back-breaking, hard work.
Well, when I was younger, growing up, there was a song that it was a rap song, and they need a roughneck and wanted to get a roughneck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you never heard that?
No.
Yeah, it was a hip hop song, probably like in the 90s. Need a roughneck, want to get a roughneck.
Oh, okay.
When the girls, well, you know, I'm probably butchering the words. I'm going to look it up, though.
Well, another song that came out was pretty famous about roughnecks, but this is about the real roughnecks, the ones in Texas who work on the oil fields. Johnny Cash wrote it in the 60s. And it's called Born to be a Roughneck. And
that's about the oil workers, not about like a cool bad boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that from New York.
Yeah. He made that song to pay tribute to these really hardworking men.
It was by MC Lyte.
Oh,
the
okay.
song Roughneck. So if you don't know that song, go check it out.
So Roughneck is a nickname for the oil field workers because it's such hard labor. So lately, Brandon and his girlfriend, Ledessa, they'd been arguing a bit more because Brandon was a great father, and he was also really good to his girlfriend, Ledessa, but he was no angel. He had a few run-ins with the law, and he dabbled here and there in some drugs.
Well, as long as you're good to your girlfriend, whatever.
Well,
she can't be mad at you.
Except that when he did dabble in drugs, he would be gone for like a day or a night and not come home. And that would make her really upset.
He would go on like binges.
Yeah, a little bit. Because he had 4 kids and, that upset her. But he still showed up to work. He still worked hard. He still, was the breadwinner for the family and put food on the table.
I feel like people don't have 4 kids nowadays.
Yeah, they do. You know multiple people with 3 kids.
That's 3.
I know, but that's close to 4.
Hashtag 3 is not 4, Jess.
No, you're saying like multiple kids.
No, I said 4.
Oh, I'm sure we have listeners who have 4 kids. Guaranteed.
I'm sorry about that. They're probably so busy right now. Like, shut up. I'm trying to listen to the podcast. While like one's eating Cheerios in the bathtub and the other one pulled the poop out their diaper and smeared it on the wall.
Well, he would dabble in drugs here and there, and it really upset his girlfriend. And this kind of stressor really affected the couple. So on August 8th, 2013, Brandon returned home from a bender. He didn't come home the night before at all. And it was apparent that he'd been out drinking and doing some drugs. So naturally, his girlfriend, Ledessa, she was pissed. She was like, bro, this is bullshit. And they got into this giant fight, and he decides to leave the house.
Why does the man always have to leave?
Because he's the one that stayed out the night before.
But he lives there.
It doesn't matter. It was his fault.
But he has nowhere to sleep. Where does she want him to sleep?
Well, he calls his father in Crowley, Texas, and he says he's going to come over and spend the night at his dad's house.
At least you got to... Like, if I get kicked out, I guess I go to my sister's house.
Yeah, so...
But you can't kick me out. I live here.
Crowley, Texas is actually 3 hours away. And this was pretty late at night, but he decides he's going to his dad's anyway. And he needed some time away from Ledessa so that they could kind of cool off. His dad said nah, man, it's late. Why don't you just stay home? But he doesn't listen. So at approximately 11:45 p.m., Brandon jumps in his Ford F-150 and he heads to his dad's house.
Was he high or drunk at this time?
It didn't specify, but he had been high and drunk the night before.
So he's definitely tired because he was out all night.
Yeah. And this was late at this point. It's 11:45 p.m. So he might have been doing some drugs that day. I don't know. It didn't really specify.
All right.
So while on the road, Brandon makes a few phone calls. One of them being at around 12:30 a.m. He calls his brother and he tells his brother, Kyle, that he ran out of gas. And he's sitting on the side of Route 277 between San Angelo and Bront, Texas.
I wonder if it's because he was like not paying attention or he was broke.
I don't know. I think, well, no.
That makes a difference to me because if he wasn't paying attention, he might have been tired, drunk, high. If he was broke, then it's just because
Are you talking about the fact that he ran out of gas?
Yeah.
Because he ran out of gas because he wasn't paying attention and now he's in the middle of nowhere. So there's no gas station around.
So that means he might be high or drunk.
Yeah, possibly.
Still. But if he had money to pay for gas and he wasn't in a messed up state of mind, he would have went to the gas station.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out what his mindset is, because how else could I profile this as a professional profiler unless I have all the facts?
No, that's true. That's a good point. So he might have been, but he's on Route 277 and he's in the middle of nowhere and there's no gas station around.
What state are they in?
In Texas.
Oh, Texas is huge. Texas is our number one listener state nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
Shout out to you Texans. Don't shoot each other.
So I've seen in different sources that during this call, Brandon tells his brother people are chasing him out of town. And then he says it's the Mexicans in the neighborhood to Kyle. And Kyle is like, what? And he responds, he's like, dude, are you hallucinating? Are you okay? And Brandon says, no, I'm not hallucinating. So clearly something's off because he didn't leave because anyone was chasing him out of town. He left because his girlfriend and him got in a fight.
He said, so basically in his mind, there's a band of Mexicans chasing him.
That's what he kind of says. So this made...
Like, bro, what is wrong with you?
That's what his brother said. His brother's like, what's going on with him? So this made his brother think maybe he was on something. So Kyle decides to call Brandon's girlfriend, Ladessa, and let her know that he just got off the phone with Brandon and that he's stranded in the middle of nowhere and Kyle was going to go bring him some gas. Well, Ladessa's still pissed. And she's like, all right, well, I'm taking a shower. I'm going to bed because F this dude. I'll leave the gas can on the porch for you. If you want to pick it up and go fill it up and take it to him, go ahead. But I'm not going because she's angry. His brother Kyle is a good brother. His girlfriend and his 4-year-old daughter and him hop in their car and they go to Ladessa's house. They pick up the gas can off of her porch and then he heads to the gas station. But then Kyle, unfortunately, his check didn't clear and he didn't have enough money in his bank account to get his brother gas.
Damn.
So what he does instead is he says, you know what, I'll just drive to his truck to get him. Then I'll pick him up. We'll go to the gas station together and he can pay for the gas because my check didn't clear in my bank account yet. So meanwhile...
Been there. You know, you got to respect the struggle. We all been there.
Definitely. So meanwhile, a truck driver notices an abandoned Ford F-150 on the side of the road, but it's dark and the truck is kind of sticking out into the middle of the highway. And the truck driver calls police and he's like, there's this hazardous vehicle in the middle of the highway. It's really dangerous because it's super dark here. I need you guys to come and move it because it's a hazard. So this is all happening simultaneously. Kyle is driving to Brandon's car to bring him the gas. Okay. The truck driver calls 911. So now there's a deputy heading to Brandon's car. All right. And then at 12:50, Brandon himself calls 911. So now the 911...
So Brandon's alive.
Brandon's alive,
because we know he's about to go missing.
So now the 911 call that Brandon makes, like I said before, is at the center of this case. It is the thing that has been studied and studied and studied in the 9 years since this happened.
Oh, so this was just 9 years ago.
2013, yeah. So it's incredibly hard to understand to be honest. And it's going to be even harder for you specifically, Russell, because you're probably the worst with accents of anyone I've ever known.
Probably, I might be the worst person in the world to understand accents.
Definitely.
Like, you could, I can't even watch British TV shows. I'm like, what did they just say? I mean, just turn the subtitles on.
You always have to have the subtitles on. Even with British people, I'm like, what? So.
Well, it depends. Some of them, unless you're like a British hot lady that talks slow, then
you'll
I'm in.
pay better attention.
Oh, then I'm in. Like, who's the British hot lady? I don't know.
Yeah, well.
But shout out to the British hot ladies.
Well, in this call, it's really hard to understand. Not only is Brandon out of breath, the cell service is pretty shitty. But on top of it, he has a very thick southern draw, a southern accent.
It's the anyone from like overseas. I could do some southern.
Okay, well,
you know why
we'll
I could
see
do southern?
How you can.
Because they talk slow.
Well, this is going to be tough. I guarantee you. So now we're going to play the call. I want you to listen. I'm going to play it once in regular time, and then I'm going to play it again in slow motion. That's how tough it is to decipher this, and we'll see what you pick up. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
9/2013 0:50 and 38 seconds. 911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The Safer just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got shaken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
We're not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? 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 9/2013 0:50 and 38 seconds. 911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The Safer just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here that got shaken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
We're not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello?
Okay. So, what did you hear at all out of that? Did you hear anything?
I heard he ran into him.
Yeah, you heard he ran into him. Did you hear anything else?
The first time, I didn't even get one word out. Like one word of understanding.
So, yeah, like I said, a lot of people have listened to this call over and over and over again, trying to decipher what he's saying because they feel like if they can decipher exactly what he's saying, that they'll, like, it's the key. It's the key to this case, to knowing what happened to him right before he disappeared.
But you know what? People that know you would probably understand what you're saying. Like, you would know what I'm saying.
No.
So that means he might have been drunk or high or something? Because
his family can't decipher some of the things. I'm going to go through this transcript of what people think he's saying.
I think he may have been trying to talk fast because he was in trouble to get what he's saying out really fast before he couldn't be on the phone anymore. And then that was true because all of a sudden he was gone. But we also didn't hear anything once he was gone. He could have been out of cell phone service. You didn't hear him say, ah.
Yeah, you didn't hear anything
because
like that.
If it was a shot, if it was a stab, if someone grabbing him, you would have heard a noise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he is in the middle of nowhere, so it's quite possible that he ran out of cell phone service. But it's you can definitely tell he's distressed. Like when you're hearing it, you can hear that he's distressed. Like
I couldn't hear nothing.
Well, you could hear some things because you said he ran into him.
But when he ran into him, what do you think that meant?
I'm going to go through the transcript now so that you can kind of get an idea. So it starts off, he says, yes, I'm in the middle of the field. Then it's kind of inaudible. Right here, going towards Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. It got taken through the woods. That's what people think he said there.
Like, I don't know what that even means.
Or I got taken through the woods. Please hurry. Then the 911 operator says, okay, now run that by me again, because they couldn't really understand him either.
Because he was talking fast.
And then it says, it's really inaudible, but it's possible he says, no, we're not talking to him. No, I ran into him. And then that's when she says, oh, you ran into them. Okay. And then you can't really understand him, but he says something like, yes, it's the first guy. And then she says, do you need an ambulance? He says, no, I need the cops. Okay.
So that means he's not hurt when they ask, do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, it means he's in trouble. He needs the cops.
Yeah, like he might be about to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So now...
So that means it's probably a dude with a weapon. Because if it's just like a dude fighting a dude, well, still, you'd still probably like, I need the cops.
Yeah, if you're trying to fight you. So now one thing to know about Brandon is that at this time, when this call was made, he currently had a warrant out for his arrest. So the fact that he asked for the cops, knowing he's got an outstanding warrant, and it's a felony warrant, it was a drug charge.
Oh, that's different, because at one time I had a warrant, and it was just because in the Bronx, fuck these cops, they gave me a ticket for me not having the proper dog tag on my dog's collar. And then I obviously didn't go to court because...
Russ, that was me, bro.
No, me too.
You got a ticket too?
Yeah.
With walking Biggie? Well,
no, not Biggie. That was for Chaos. My Doberman way back. My dog's name was Chaos. It was kind of corny, but I loved him. It was the first dog I ever got when I was 18. I lived on my own. My mom never let me get a dog. Got me a Doberman, but he still had his tail and ears.
Aw.
But this was a thing that they were doing.
Well, they did it to me with Biggie.
Yeah, so then if you don't respond, you get a warrant out for your arrest.
Yep.
Like, imagine just bothering someone that, like,
you're
is
just walking your
their
dog. Exactly. Well, this was a little different. He had a drug charge.
That's different.
So this is a felony warrant. But the fact that he asked for the cops, knowing that he had this warrant, means that he was in serious trouble.
So he was ready to go to jail to save his life.
Exactly. Like, his life was in danger. He was planning to address this warrant the following week, though. It was one of those situations where he didn't realize that he had a warrant out for his arrest. It was like an old charge that came up. I don't know all the details, but his family was aware that he had this warrant. And they even said, oh my God, he asked for the cops? Like, that's crazy. You guys already know, because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you, because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's VIIAHEMP.com, wifeofcrime1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime. So Kyle and his wife, Audrey, now they get a call from Brandon.
Who's Kyle?
His brother.
And that's who is coming to give him gas.
Exactly. They get a call from Brandon, and the service was really bad, and it kept cutting in and out. Audrey spoke to him, and all she could make out was that he said he's about 10 minutes from his truck in the field bleeding.
And was this before or after the 911 call?
We don't know.
Okay. So that means he was running away from his truck, but he also hit the truck.
Well, that's what we think he says in the 911
So if he
call,
hit the
so
truck,
we don't know.
If he hit the truck, he's bleeding, and then sometimes you could think, like, if I'm on the side of the road, broke down, another dude hits me, you might be pissed off. Like, I'm going to whoop his ass.
Yeah, but his truck was not damaged at all. So
he didn't
the
hit
ran into him thing is very iffy. That's just what people think he said in that 911 call. And it's what people think happened, but his truck had no damage whatsoever.
But possibly, when he says ran into someone, that doesn't necessarily mean hit someone. You could have a problem with someone and you ran into them like, I saw him.
Problem.
Like, oh shit, I ran into this guy that I had problems with. And that doesn't mean you hit him with the truck.
That's true. Yeah.
Because if his truck ran out of gas, now that I'm thinking about it, now it's all coming clear.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't run into someone if you ran out of gas because your truck slowed down and came to a stop on its own.
Yeah.
When you ran into someone, he might have saw you on the side of the road and like, oh, there you go, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So he didn't hit anyone.
Yeah, he didn't hit anyone with his car.
No shot.
So running into someone, that's a good point. It could be that he came up, like someone came upon him and it was someone he might have had an issue with.
Yeah, and being that he goes out on binges, he's drinking, he's doing drugs, you get into all kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about theories later.
Well, I'll give you the facts.
Kyle arrived at his truck at 1:10 a.m. And the same time Kyle arrives to bring him the gas. Now, meanwhile, remember, Kyle has no idea anything's going on. He didn't know about the 911 call. He just knows that he said, I'm about 10 minutes from my truck in the field. But the same time Kyle arrives, the deputy arrives. But he arrives because the truck driver said there's a hazardous vehicle. So the deputy didn't know about the 911 call either. Okay? So they're both here for different reasons. Kyle assumes that his brother is hiding in the field because a deputy showed up and he's trying to hide from the cops because he has a warrant. So his brother just thinks, he doesn't want the deputy to see him because he doesn't want to get arrested. Since he assumed this, he tried to play it off. He talked to the deputy for a few minutes and he's like, oh yeah, this is my brother's truck, whatever. We'll get it moved. No big deal. The deputy's like, okay, no problem. They shake hands, go, the deputy leaves.
Wow. So he just...
Because he thinks his brother's just hiding so the cop doesn't see him.
So the deputy didn't know the name of the person that called.
No. He doesn't know about the 911 call. The deputy has no idea. He only came because the truck driver called 911 about the hazardous vehicle.
I'm not the only one lost.
Kyle stays there and waits for his brother to come out after the deputy leaves, but he doesn't come. He doesn't come out of the field. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go fill up this gas tank. His check happened to clear. He checked on his phone.
In that moment.
His check cleared because it was after midnight. He went to the gas station, got gas in the gas can, came back to the truck, put the gas can in the back of the truck bed. And he's like, all right, well, maybe he's still hiding out there. So I'll come back in a couple hours and check on and see if he's there. But here's the gas. He can get home now.
That's crazy.
And he takes his little daughter and his wife home because
you got to.
Yeah.
But why'd he even take them with him on like a search and rescue mission? Like, if someone I knew ran out of gas, I'm not going to, well, maybe you could come with me, but not if I had a kid too.
Yeah.
Because then you got to get the kid dressed and stuff.
I don't know. But he took him with him.
That's crazy. But I also, if you pull up to the spot and be like, where is he? So annoying. Hurry up and get back out.
Yeah. He's just like, at this point, he's like, all right, I got to get them home. So he leaves the gas, takes them home, and then he comes back to the car at 5 a.m. and there's still no sign of Brandon. So by 8 a.m., the sheriff's department had the truck towed because it was a hazard. It was sticking out in the middle of the lane. So the next morning, Ledessa woke up to 3 missed calls from Brandon and about 10 missed calls from Kyle. Over the next few days, the family becomes increasingly more concerned, and they notice that Brandon's bank accounts are untouched, but he's still not home, and he's nowhere to be found. And they keep calling and calling and calling his phone, but the calls now are just going straight to voicemail because I guess his phone might have died. The family goes to the police, but the police, honestly, they blow him off. And they blow him off in the beginning because they're like, this is a grown man. Like, he might be out. He's not missing. This is a grown man. He probably left on his own. You said you guys got into an argument. Maybe he's gone. Maybe he's with somebody else. You know, they kind of don't take missing persons cases seriously in the beginning, especially if it's a grown man.
But there's also none of that in the movie's 24-hour thing.
What do you mean?
Like, oh, we can't report a miss until it's 24 hours. That's fake.
It's not fake. They make you wait when you have a missing person. If I went missing and you didn't see me for 5 hours, they'd make you wait until like the next day.
Well, pro tip, just say it's been 24 hours then, folks. If you know anyone that's been missing.
But then the timeline is off.
Well,
how are you going to investigate the crime if you have the timeline all off?
Well, just if you know your person is missing, you say the person's been missing, then after, you're like, hey, I just said that, but they're still missing. But if the person comes home, then who cares? The person came home.
Yeah.
That's all you really care about.
That's true.
Because sometimes some people know, like I know you get out at a certain time work, right? Like say you get out at 8 o'clock. And if it's 2 a.m. and I didn't hear from you, you're missing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
sure.
I'm putting up the bat signal in all of New York. I'm like, and everyone's coming out.
Well, the family was upset because the cops kind of blew them off and they knew Brandon wouldn't just disappear, right? They knew that that's not like him, and his bank accounts were untouched. He didn't have any money on him, and there was no money coming out of his bank accounts. So after a couple weeks, Ledessa requested the phone records from the cell phone company because she wanted to see the calls he was making that night.
After a couple weeks, you said?
After a couple weeks of cops kind of not really...
He's been gone that long, so it's a wrap.
So they requested these cell phone records, and when she got them, it was like 2 weeks later, she saw an outgoing 911 call. She's the one that discovered it. This obviously scares the crap out of her, and she immediately requests the 911 tape. Sadly, it takes 4 months to come, the 911 tape. But after she notices the 911 call on the records, the police now get serious about it. And they put together a search party because they're like, oh, he made a 911 call. We should actually take this seriously.
Did they search the fields previously?
No, not until she said there was an outgoing 911 call. So the police put together, a big search party. They go to the area with volunteers, cops, search dogs, looking for Brandon, but nothing was found. So as days turned to months and months turned to years, Ledessa paid for multiple searches of the area where Brandon was last seen. She and her daughters and Brandon's parents and siblings started a Facebook page devoted to gathering information. And there was even still, there's like 20,000 followers on this Facebook page. Because they just want to get any information where anyone might know anything about Brandon in the days leading up to his disappearance.
Well, they have to figure out who he's had problems with, and people. So there are people out there in the circles, because when you go out on a binge or whatever, you're never completely alone.
Yeah,
you may be in a bar, and then you go to another spot or after hours. So people know who he was around in his last hours, but people may also know who he has had problems with.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah, but then I also am the type of dude don't talk. So I'd be like, I don't know.
Well, it's very interesting, the theories that have come out about this case. Since so many people, this is huge in true crime, this case in particular, because everybody knows that the key is in the 911 call. And it's like one of those things where it's like right beyond your grasp. Like you're right there and you just can't figure it out. But it's like one of those really hard ones to not be able to figure out. There's a lot of theories. And one of the theories is that he might have come up on a situation where there were state troopers that had pulled someone over that night in that same area, and they hurt someone or possibly killed this person. And Brandon saw it. He came across that situation, and they got rid of him.
What state is this again?
Texas.
Texas is too big to break. Let's just say Texas.
Yeah,
So-
but what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, because like you could narrow down how certain people act in certain areas.
Oh, well, in this
Because
is
like New York is big, but like we break it into borough. Like New York City's big, we break it into boroughs. Texas is as big as other countries.
yeah, but what does that have to do with the theory I just said about the state troopers?
Because the way the cops act in certain areas.
Oh, okay.
Like NYPD are celebrities. They think they're celebrities in New York.
Yeah. Well, this theory was pushed a lot, where people thought that maybe he came across cops doing something bad and the cops shot him or got rid of him. Other theories is that he got into a confrontation with the person that he ran into in the 911 call, and maybe they chased him into the woods and then killed him, and then left the scene. So after a number of years, a civilian friend of the family named Jason Watts, okay,
Why'd you say civilian?
because he's not in law enforcement. He's just a civilian. He's a regular dude.
Oh.
He doesn't have he's not a PI either or anything. He doesn't have like any type of credential with law.
That's normally how military people speak.
Yeah, but he was civilian as far as no law enforcement experience. His name is Jason Watts, and he had gotten involved with the search efforts, and he was determined to find Brandon. And over the last few years, he and Brandon's girlfriend Ladessa, they've worked together to try to organize lots of searches. They even organized a drone search of the area, because this particular area of Texas, on this highway, there's multiple properties that are all privately owned. Now, they're not like, it's not like there's houses on them. I mean, it's like a huge area of land.
Because land is probably cheaper. You could buy a lot of land for like $20,000. You probably get acres.
Yes. So a lot of these landowners have all these acres there, but they don't live on it. And one of the pieces of land a family owns, and they use it as their hunting grounds, like their hunting area. So they have been trying to get access to this piece of land for a long time. They even bought drones and did drone searches.
Recently?
Yeah, over the last like year or two. So Jason,
Drones are cheap now. You can search the shit out of stuff. But what are you going to see 9 years later? You're not going to see anything.
You're going to see a few things.
No, you're not. I'm going to tell you. Because if a body has been shot and decomposed or he's dead, you're not going to see that with a drone in between the trees and everything. This is pointless.
Well, they still did
I'm
it.
going to give you an A for effort, but an F for execution.
Well, they really put so much effort. I mean, honestly, when it's your family and you're just trying to find answers, you're going to do anything you can think of.
That's true. I apologize.
In the moment, you're literally
I would do anything.
You're going to do
That's true.
anything you can think of. You're going to grab at straws, just hoping that something, or throw some, you know how they say, like, throw something at the wall and hope it sticks. Like, you're literally going to do everything you can.
Yeah, and I never say sorry. I apologize.
So Jason Watts has spoken to a number of podcasts. He's been on multiple podcasts trying to get awareness about this case out there. And Brandon's family and him, they went to CrimeCon a few years in a row. They've hired private investigators, but they didn't have much reward for their efforts until
Wait,
February.
They contacted the profiler.
No, February of 2022. This February, 2 months ago. All of their efforts finally paid off.
What?
Yes. So we have a conclusion to the case of Brandon Lawson.
Ah,
So in the area where Brandon went missing, like I said, there's multiple private properties. And one of the properties, it took a really long time for them to get a hold of the owners to gain access to it because it was their private hunting ground. And it was really hard to figure out who actually owned the property because it was owned by multiple family members. And they needed, you need a search warrant to just go on people's property and conduct like a real search with volunteers and dogs and all that stuff.
yeah.
So they finally got access to this property. The family was very cooperative, so they're clearly not involved in this crime. They just wanted to help in any way possible.
Yeah, like if I owned a property, someone said, and I had nothing to do with anything, you'd be like, oh, go ahead, check it out. Hopefully you can find your brother. But now the problem is, the way searches go sometimes, like if they find someone on your property, you're going to be the first suspect.
Well,
so that's scary too.
Well, in this case, like I said, they were very cooperative, and Jason and Ledessa both spent extensive time with them, and they even came to help with the search efforts. So like they were really a big part of searching the property. While they had this search party, everyone was looking, they came across 2 Nike Air Max and a pair of camouflage shorts. And that was what he was wearing the night that he disappeared.
Your boy dresses like me.
Yeah, he does. And about 10 or so feet away, they saw a skull. And
how far off of so he how far off of the highway is that? Because he pulled over because no gas.
I have no idea.
It can't be that far.
I didn't see a map or anything.
Because most people can't run that far. Like if you're in the woods, what you gonna run? 2 miles? You're gonna get tired. Even for someone who's fit, most of us aren't athletes. But even if we're fit, we can run a couple miles in the woods.
Well, he was a couple miles away from his truck. I don't know in what direction. So they made this discovery of his Air Max and his camouflage shorts, and that was what he was wearing the night of. And a few feet away, they found a human skull.
Damn, son.
As soon as they found this, Jason, Ledessa, and Brandon's family all burst into tears. There's like pictures of them just bawling their eyes out because it's like finally, after 9 years, they got this closure.
I mean, they knew he was dead.
Yeah, but they finally get to bury him,
They found his body. I got it.
So they sent off his skull to get it tested for DNA, but it takes a while. It still hasn't come back yet, but they know it's him because that's the clothes he was wearing and it's in the vicinity away from his truck. So they know, but they're still waiting for confirmation that this is his skull.
How long ago was this?
February, and now it's April. So it's been 2 months and they're waiting for the results.
Why does it take so long?
Because you're doing it through bone, which takes a long time, especially,
I'm going to have to look into this when I start the DNA shop without 24-hour turnaround. We may have to add a little more turnaround for bone.
Maybe.
But we don't really do bone there. We do just like swabs.
So, problem is that the family now has closure. But still to this day, no one knows what happened that night. No one knows why he ended up that far from his truck.
That's why.
Why anyone would want to hurt him. Or if he was even murdered. It could have been a situation where this happens a lot, where he might have been, under the influence of something. He ran into the woods
and kept
running and then got turned around and lost and then, was dehydrated. And a day goes by, you have nothing to eat or drink, and you're already dehydrated from being drunk or under the influence of drugs. And he could have died out there from exposure, but no one knows. So
that's shitty.
But at least they found him. And that's an update on this case for everybody who has followed this case. And that's it. That's the case of Brandon Lawson.
Damn. We've done a few recent cases lately.
It's not that recent. It was
9 years, but we've done cases in the past 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Black and white TV screens in my head.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, very crazy case.
And then
I'm glad that they got
to know
closure.
that he was running from something. He was in fear.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what bad relationships he has made in the past.
But who knows if it was a person from his past? That's
Now-
the problem. You don't know. You're just
But
assuming.
No, I'm telling you.
You're
I know
wrong.
for a fact.
You can't say you know for a fact.
No, I do.
You have no idea.
No, I'll tell you why.
Why?
So he ran out of gas.
Okay.
And when he ran out of gas, he didn't run into anyone. The car came to a slowing stop.
Yes, we already said that.
Yep. So when he ran into someone that he had a bad relationship with. And I don't mean boyfriend,
Or maybe
girlfriend.
he ran into someone like a cop. Because a lot of people think that theory that he ran into the cops
No,
doing something.
I ran into him. But he should have said his name, or maybe he doesn't know his name.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's definitely a head scratcher of a case that now has finally gotten some closure, but I don't think we'll ever know what happened that night. It's just something that his family is going to have to come to grips with, that they might never get that answer.
And in my mind, everyone in Texas has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's probably very easy. In New York, it's hard as hell to get a gun legally.
Yeah.
In Texas, I feel like anyone can get a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to buy one.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong.
No, it's easy to get a gun down there compared to here. I mean, here it's like hard.
Well, I'm kind of glad a lot of people I know don't have guns over here. New York is wild. We're too close together for everyone. But you know what? I want everyone to be free. So, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But
well, that's it. That's this case this week.
I thought you would have came to the same conclusions as me, but you didn't.
I didn't know what
not
to
your
think.
fault.
I didn't know what to think. I don't have any. I think what you said made sense, but I didn't know what to think about what happened to him. There's a lot of possibilities.
Because when the first time I thought, when you said he ran into someone, I thought that meant like
He hit someone.
he hit someone, someone's pissed off, there's a lot of road rage maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now that's not the case. Now I ran into him. That means he ran into someone that he had some problems with, to me.
Yeah, that's a good theory, really. Very good theory.
And then who do you have problems with? Hopefully they can backtrack it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good week. 2 weeks. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Follow us on our Patreon for our May True Crime and Chill, where we do the Captive Audience documentary on Hulu. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod and Facebook at Wife of Crime, the Crime Family. And you can check us out on TikTok, where I have 50,000 followers and 4 million views on Wife of Crime Pod.
All
but
brand
I'm
new
locked
this
out
week.
right now, so I might not post for a little while. And have a wonderful week, guys.
But we might be back in TikTok soon.
We might. We'll see what happens. All right. Talk to you
Wait,
guys.
but we got like merch and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, they know that.
Yo, check out some merch or stuff on wifecrime.com.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Peace.